My ex-business partner tried to frame me for sexual harassment to force me out. The security footage showed who really crossed the line. 6 months ago, I thought I had finally made it in the business world. My company was thriving, the client base was expanding rapidly, and everything seemed to be falling into place perfectly. I had started this venture 3 years earlier with someone I considered not just a business partner, but a close friend. We had known each other since college, shared similar visions for success, and complemented each other's skills remarkably well. He handled the creative side while I focused on operations and client relations. The partnership had been smooth sailing for the first 2 years. We split everything 50-50, made major decisions together, and trusted each other completely. Our office was a converted warehouse space downtown, nothing fancy, but it had character and room to grow. We had hired a small team of dedicated employees who believed in our vision and worked incredibly hard to make the company successful. Everything started to change when we landed our biggest client contract ever. The deal was worth more than everything we had earned combined in our previous years of operation. Suddenly, there was serious money on the table, and I began to notice subtle shifts in my partner's behavior. He started questioning my decisions more frequently, suggesting that maybe we needed to restructure our partnership agreement. At first, I brushed it off as normal growing pains that come with business expansion. The tension escalated when he began making comments about how he deserved a larger share of the profits because, in his words, he was the creative genius behind our success. He started arriving late to meetings, leaving early, and generally seemed disengaged from the day-to-day operations. I found myself picking up the slack, working longer hours, and handling more client communications than ever before. One particular morning stands out vividly in my memory. I had arrived at the office early to prepare for a crucial presentation to our biggest client. As I was reviewing the materials, I noticed that several key documents were missing from our shared drive. When I asked my partner about it, he claimed he had no idea what I was talking about. Later that day, I discovered he had moved those files to a personal folder and changed the access permissions. The confrontation that followed was heated but professional. I asked him directly what was going on and whether he was planning something behind my back. He denied everything, acted hurt that I would even suggest such a thing, and turned the conversation around to make me feel guilty for questioning his loyalty. Looking back, I realized this was the moment our partnership truly began to crumble. Over the next few weeks, strange things kept happening around the office. Important emails would mysteriously disappear from my inbox. Client phone calls would get redirected to his line instead of mine. Supply orders would get canceled without explanation. Each incident was small enough to be explained away as a technical glitch or honest mistake, but the pattern was becoming undeniable. The situation reached a breaking point when our newest employee, a young woman who had joined our team just 2 months earlier, started acting uncomfortable around me. She would avoid making eye contact, leave rooms when I entered, and seemed nervous during our weekly team meetings. I initially thought she was just shy or adjusting to the workplace culture, but her behavior became increasingly concerning. One afternoon, while I was working late alone in the office, she approached my desk with obvious hesitation. She explained that my partner had been making inappropriate comments about me to her and other employees. According to her, he had been suggesting that I was unprofessional with female staff members and that she should be careful around me. He had also been asking her personal questions about her dating life and making comments about her appearance. The revelation hit me like a physical blow. Not only was my business partner undermining me professionally, but he was also creating a hostile work environment and potentially setting me up for serious legal trouble. I thanked her for her honesty and assured her that I would handle the situation appropriately. That night, I barely slept as I tried to process what was happening and figure out my next move. The following Monday, I decided to have a direct conversation with my partner about the allegations. I approached him privately in his office and calmly explained what I had been told. His reaction was immediate and explosive. He accused me of trying to turn employees against him, claimed the young woman was lying, and suggested that I was the one behaving inappropriately. The conversation escalated quickly, with him raising his voice and becoming increasingly aggressive. By the end of that week, the situation had spiraled completely out of control. My partner had scheduled a meeting with our entire team without informing me. When I arrived at the office that morning, I found everyone gathered in the conference room looking uncomfortable and confused. He announced that serious allegations had been made about workplace harassment, and that he was taking immediate action to protect the company and its employees. The shock of hearing him publicly accuse me of sexual harassment in front of our entire team was overwhelming. I felt my face flush with embarrassment and anger as I realized he was attempting to destroy my reputation and force me out of the company. Several employees looked shocked and uncomfortable, while others seemed unsure of what to believe. The young woman who had originally confided in me looked mortified and kept her eyes fixed on the table. After the meeting, I immediately contacted a lawyer to understand my options and protect myself legally. The attorney advised me to document everything, avoid any confrontational situations, and prepare for the possibility of a lawsuit. I spent the next few days gathering evidence, including email communications, financial records, and witness statements from employees who were willing to speak on my behalf. The breakthrough came when I remembered that we had recently upgraded our security system to include cameras throughout the office space. The new system had been installed just 3 months earlier, and I had access to all the footage through a secure online portal. I had completely forgotten about it during the chaos of the accusations, but suddenly realized it might hold the key to proving my innocence. I spent hours reviewing weeks of security footage, looking for any evidence that might support or contradict the allegations against me. What I found was far more shocking than I had anticipated. The cameras had captured numerous instances of my partner engaging in exactly the behavior he was accusing me of. There were recordings of him making inappropriate comments to female employees, standing too close to them during conversations, and even attempting to touch them inappropriately. The most damning footage showed him alone in the office with the young woman who had initially confided in me. In the recording, he was clearly pressuring her to make false accusations against me, promising her career advancement if she cooperated and threatening her job security if she refused. The audio quality was clear enough to hear him coaching her on what to say and how to make her story sound believable. I felt a mixture of vindication and disgust as I watched the footage. On one hand, I finally had proof of my innocence and evidence of his manipulation. On the other hand, I was horrified to see how he had been treating our employees and using his position of power to exploit them. The betrayal cut deep, not just as a business partner, but as someone I had considered a close friend for over a decade. The next morning, I arranged a meeting with the entire team and our company's legal counsel. I presented the security footage as evidence, showing everyone exactly what had been happening in the office. The room fell silent as they watched the recordings, and I could see the shock and disgust on their faces as they realized the truth. The young woman broke down in tears, apologizing for her part in the deception and explaining how she had been coerced into making false accusations. My partner's reaction was immediate and desperate. He tried to claim the footage was somehow doctored or taken out of context, but the evidence was overwhelming and undeniable. He attempted to storm out of the meeting, but I had already taken precautions to prevent him from accessing company accounts or removing any important documents. Security was waiting outside to escort him from the building. The legal battle that followed was intense but relatively brief. With the security footage as evidence, my partner had no choice but to admit his wrongdoing and accept responsibility for his actions. He was forced to sell his share of the company back to me at a significantly reduced price, and he faced additional legal consequences for his harassment of employees. The young woman who had been coerced into making false accusations also filed charges against him. The aftermath was emotionally draining but ultimately liberating. I had to rebuild trust with my employees, many of whom felt betrayed and confused by the entire situation. I implemented new policies to prevent workplace harassment and created a more transparent communication structure within the company. Several employees chose to leave during the transition, which was understandable given the toxic environment that had developed. The most difficult part was dealing with the personal betrayal. This was someone I had trusted completely, someone I had shared my dreams and ambitions with, and someone I had considered family. The realization that he had been planning to destroy me professionally and personally was devastating. I went through a period of questioning my judgment and wondering how I had missed the warning signs. However, the experience also taught me valuable lessons about business partnerships and the importance of maintaining proper documentation and security measures. I learned that even the closest relationships can change when significant money and power are involved. I also gained a deeper appreciation for the employees who stood by me during the crisis and helped expose the truth. 6 months later, the company is stronger than ever. We have grown our client base, hired several new team members, and established a reputation for integrity and professionalism in our industry. The toxic environment that had developed under my former partner's influence has been completely eliminated, and the workplace culture is now more positive and productive than it ever was before. The young woman who was initially coerced into making false accusations has become one of our most valued employees. She has shown incredible courage in coming forward with the truth and has become an advocate for workplace safety and honest communication. Her experience has helped us develop better policies and procedures to protect all employees from harassment and manipulation. I still struggle sometimes with trust issues, particularly when it comes to business partnerships and close working relationships. The betrayal left scars that will probably never fully heal, but I have learned to be more cautious while still remaining open to meaningful professional relationships. I have also become more aware of the warning signs of manipulation and coercion, which has helped me better protect myself and my employees. The financial recovery has been remarkable. Without having to split profits with a partner who was no longer contributing meaningfully to the business, the company's profitability has increased significantly. I have been able to invest more in employee benefits, office improvements, and business development initiatives. The removal of the toxic partnership has freed up resources and energy that can now be directed toward positive growth. Looking back on the entire experience, I realized that the security footage was not just evidence of my innocence, but also a wake-up call about the importance of transparency and accountability in business relationships. I now maintain detailed records of all business communications, have implemented regular performance reviews and feedback sessions, and have established clear protocols for handling disputes and concerns. The legal resolution brought closure to the immediate crisis, but the emotional healing took much longer. I had to work through feelings of anger, betrayal, and self-doubt that lingered long after the legal proceedings were complete. The support of remaining employees, friends, and family was crucial during this recovery period. I learned that resilience is not about avoiding difficult situations, but about how you respond when they inevitably arise. One unexpected positive outcome has been the strengthening of relationships with our clients. When word spread about the situation and how it was resolved, several clients expressed appreciation for our commitment to integrity and transparency. Some have even increased their business with us because they trust our values and ethical standards. The crisis, while painful, ultimately demonstrated our company's character and commitment to doing the right thing. The experience has also made me a better leader and mentor to other entrepreneurs. I now speak at business conferences about the importance of due diligence in partnerships, the need for proper documentation and security measures, and the value of creating transparent, ethical workplace cultures. My story has helped other business owners avoid similar pitfalls and has contributed to important conversations about power dynamics and harassment in professional settings. Today, I run the company alone, and while I remain open to future partnerships, I approach them with much more caution and preparation. I have learned that trust must be earned and maintained through consistent actions, not just words or shared history. The security footage that saved my reputation and business has become a symbol of the importance of truth and transparency in all professional relationships. The young employees who witnessed the entire situation have become strong advocates for workplace integrity and have helped create a culture where concerns can be raised safely and honestly. They have seen firsthand how quickly situations can escalate when left unchecked, and they are committed to preventing similar problems in the future. Their involvement has made our company stronger and more resilient. The financial success that followed the resolution of the crisis has allowed me to expand the business in ways I never imagined. We have opened a second location, hired additional staff, and are exploring new market opportunities. The removal of the toxic partnership has unleashed creative energy and business potential that had been suppressed during the months of conflict and manipulation. Perhaps most importantly, the experience has taught me that sometimes the most challenging situations can lead to the most significant growth and positive change. While I would never wish to go through such a betrayal again, I am grateful for the lessons learned and the stronger foundation it has provided for both my personal and professional life. The security footage may have revealed the truth about my former partner's behavior, but it also revealed my own strength and resilience in the face of adversity.